Hey everybody, just figured I'd do a short video. Bright morning in the mountains. I am on that vacation that I talked about taking with my son. Taking a little walk before we go get some breakfast. He's prepping. Anyway, I thought I'd go over something that happened just before we left. I took him to therapy and the therapist brought us all in, which is odd because I don't know, I just feel like it's his therapy, but seems like she's trying to get stuff to work out between the parents so that it makes him feel better. From what I got out of it, I'm talking to him a lot more and understanding him and hearing him more than he's talking to my soon-to-be ex, and it happens. She doesn't feel like she wants to explain to him, and I understand that. It's not going to look good, and it's, you know, it happens. But what bothered me a little bit was it was kind of putting my son and me on the spot, trying to get us to bring things up that I wasn't really comfortable bringing up. And I get it, that's what therapy's supposed to do, but it's still going to be a long time before I'm prepared to deal with any of that stuff. And of course, you guys don't know what it is. You could guess. You probably have your own things that you just don't want to talk about in front of your ex and your kids. But it came up about, maybe you guys need to talk about the reasons, you and your ex need to talk about some of the reasons why you broke up so that it can be explained to your son. Well, I said, I don't even know all the reasons, really. To me, it was quick, and I get that. There's a lot of relationships, from what I hear, that the men don't know it's over until the woman's known for months or years. They've made plans, they've made decisions the entire time. Most of the time, they don't act like anything's wrong, or they'll act like little things are wrong, tiny things to the guys. And that's pretty common. So it was still kind of a surprise to me. We were already in therapy. We'd gone to therapy 2 or 3 times together, counseling. Picked somebody that she had good reviews of. Some friends went to her. I'm still seeing the therapist now. But the idea is, okay, we're going through therapy, we're working on things, and then all of a sudden, boom, nope, we're done. Not fighting it anymore. That was what she said. So anyway, the therapist at this meeting was, she says, well, maybe you guys can take a minute and we'll leave the room and you guys can talk through it. And I says, well, I'm not sure there's a point to it. This is not really the time or the place. I don't like things to be brought up quickly like that. So, and my ex was like, well, now I kind of want to talk about it because he said, it's all of a sudden, she just took off. And I said, well, I know it wasn't 100% like that. In my eyes it was, in your eyes it wasn't. I get that. I get it. But in the moment, I was like, that's not something I need to deal with. Like, I've been working for 4, 5, 6 months now, handling myself, getting past all this stuff, and dealing with it. I don't need it brought back up. I don't need blame. I don't need anything like that. And so she says, well, now I feel like I want to talk about it. And I'm like, well, is it going to lead to anything positive? Is it going to lead to communication? Is it going to lead to something between us that can work towards something? And honestly, I don't even know that that's something I want. But I'm willing to talk, you know what I mean? And she says, no, absolutely not, it will not. And I said, well, then there's no point. I said, all we're going to be doing is poking each other. You know what I mean? Why, at this point, sit there and try to poke each other and blame and tell each other the shit that they did wrong? And I, of course, in her mind, oh, this is one thing she said that kind of pissed me off. She says, well, your dad and I, to my son, your dad and I just have different explanations or different feelings about what a healthy relationship is. As if, like, to me, that was an attack, kind of, you know, basically saying that she was in an unhealthy relationship and I felt like it was fine. And that's fine. Everybody has their own opinion. Me looking back now, you've seen some of my other videos, you know, I wasn't in a healthy relationship either. Somebody with all the conditions that my ex had and is always going to have, that's not healthy for anybody. I believe I was stronger than a lot of people would have been. And I still am. Hell, I'm stronger now than I was. I've learned. But the idea is I was in an unhealthy relationship, and a lot of people are telling me that now. They're like, you should have got out, and you need to stay out. So I get it. And so in this therapy session, yeah, I was kind of like, that's not something I want to do. I don't need to rehash stuff. Even if I don't know all the answers, even if I don't know why the marriage broke down, I do know some. If you've seen some of my other shorts and some other videos, I do know some of them. Whether those were enough to break down a marriage, that all depends on each person. You know, for my ex, it was enough. For me, it wasn't enough. That's how it is. Everybody's different. So that happened. I'll take what I have, make myself a better life than I had. You know what I mean? And she's welcome to do the same. So we're apart now. I'm moving on. She's moving on. Why bring shit up? Why fight? Why start shit? You know what I mean? I got nothing that I need to say. You know what I mean? I tried to bring things up. I tried to say things on my mind. And I've done some of it in some of my videos you may have seen. But it wasn't for her. It was for me to learn and retrospect and self-reflection, you know, what I can do better. And that's, like I said, it's not for her. My videos to my ex are not, they are to her, but they're not to her. They're for me and me alone, and for other people to maybe pick up some of this stuff and understand what you can do in the future, what you may be willing to do in your relationship to fix it, or if something is just too much for you. So, you know, take that with it what you will. And just do your best, you know. But I know therapy is a time to open up, but it's if you're not comfortable with something, or if you don't feel like you need to talk about it, especially in front of your ex, it could be 6 months, 6 years, never that you're comfortable bringing shit up. But if you don't feel that you're going to gain anything from that, and you're not going to gain anything from that, or they're not going to gain anything from that, just don't, you know. In my mind, I'm still not an asshole. I still do have some feelings for my ex. You know, she had my kid, and we lived together for almost 20 years, and I loved and supported and all that, you know, everything that you do. So when she brought that up, in my mind, it was like, you know, why, just because she's okay with poking me and telling me all this shit that she feels that was wrong or the bad in our relationship, I don't want to do that. She's okay with telling me and, you know, and beating me down. I'm not okay with doing that to somebody else. If she's gone and she's happier now, or plans on being, or feels that she will be, more power to her. Why would you ask somebody to tell you all the shit that you did wrong? You know what I mean? It's almost like, I don't know, a drama queen, or add a glutton for punishment, or something. Or maybe they just feel like they didn't do anything wrong, and it doesn't matter what you say. Kind of brings me back to that main character syndrome kind of thing. But anyway, I'm getting back to the hotel again, so you guys have a good day. We're having a great day out here in Colorado. So